Hello, welcome! I woke up this morning feeling super inspired to begin sharing some tools of the trade. And what I woke up feeling really inspired about was how do we as individuals nourish our inner resources, our inner wisdom, our inner knowing. It has been said that we are spirit having a human experience. And part of that human experience is the wave of emotions that come and go. And we live in a very highly reactive world, and so we're constantly being, tempted, and advertisements here and information there and all of this stuff coming at us constantly. And in order to come into your center and into your inner wisdom, it takes some real effort, it takes some skill, and it takes some practice. So what I want to share with you today is a tool that I use to get through and past the superficial layers of emotion, energy in motion, and clear that, cleanse it, release it, purify it, transmute it, so that I can see clearly, so that my vision and the way that I'm moving through the world is not coming from that place of emotional reactivity, but actually emotional intelligence, which is tricky in today's world because we're not really taught emotional intelligence. So it's something that a lot of us in the conscious community are practicing with one another. So part of me taking my own accountability for my emotions that pass through me, sometimes get stuck, want to cling on, part of my ownership in my human experience is being really present with that which is. So in order to get to those deeper layers of your center, your crystal core, your innate wisdom that lives inside of you, there's all this kind of gunk that's surrounding it of the day-to-day reactions and what happens to us in our relationships, in our work, in our friendships, just moving throughout the world, going into the grocery store, something can happen and triggers us, and then it creates this kind of fog or smoke around our crystalline purity that lives inside of us. And so this tool is used to just kind of lift that veil, to cleanse it, to allow it to move. And what is really important with it is acknowledging and giving yourself a moment in time to just feel exactly what is. So there's a couple of really important steps to this practice. And one is, when you step into it, is giving yourself full permission to feel exactly what you are feeling, to not cover it up, to not pretend, to not say, oh, it's not conscious enough to feel this low vibrational frequency, but to actually allow yourself to fully step into it and to embody it through your writing. So a couple of the really important pieces is, one, you continue to write for 5 minutes straight. So you write and you write and you write and you do not stop. You allow yourself to get into a full trance, embodying the exact emotion that is coming out of you. So the way that you begin this writing and the way that you end it is not going to be the same if you allow yourself to get into the trance of whatever it is that you're feeling. So at the beginning, you just start writing. You can write in your native tongue, your native language. At some points when you're feeling whatever emotion is running through you, you might get to the point where you're punching the piece of paper or you're scribbling, but the point is that you do not lose contact with the piece of paper for the 5 minutes straight. And as you do so, you will see this wave of emotion move through you and empty out of your being onto this piece of paper. Now you're not worrying, another rule is that you're not worrying about grammar, punctuation, any of the rules of writing do not exist here. You're just free writing, letting it pour out of you. And the third most important step at the end, if you set a timer, if you have music with you, really kind of intense music to invoke that energy out of your body, when the 5 minutes is over, you crumple up the piece of paper and you begin one shred at a time tearing this writing. Now, it is extremely important that you do not reread what you wrote. It would be almost as if you purged into a bucket and re-drank that purge. So it's very important not to reread what you wrote because you've emptied it out of your body. And part of your consciousness knows exactly what you have released here. And so the emptying piece and then tearing it is extremely important. No one can read this ever again. You can never bring it back, that low frequency, into your body. And then the next step after tearing it is in your own ceremonial release and cleansing, purifying way. You can do this in many different types of rituals, but you want to discard of that paper so that it recycles back to nature. So there's a couple ways of doing this. And one, you can give it back to the earth, bury it into the earth so it recycles into the earth. You can light it on fire so that it turns to ash and the smoke returns back to source and recycles back into the purity. But the essence of this is that that vibration is now out of your body and it is recycling back. So it's almost as though you've emptied yourself of this vibration that is no longer serving you, this energy, by fully giving yourself permission to embody it as you're writing it. And then it leaves you with this really empty space. And when you have that empty space, it's almost as though you have cleansed yourself of that fog. You take a moment to drop back in and feel that void space. Now, this is a really tender time after you've done this. If you choose to go into meditation, you can receive some amazing, really clear transmissions this way. If you choose to just go straight into the world, you know, you can begin moving through the world and associating with the world from that place of that reactivity released from your being. But I really highly recommend sitting in meditation after you do this practice and really allowing yourself to feel that emptiness and reconnect back in with your crystal core center, the purity within you. So try this practice out. Experiment with it, play with it, see how it nurtures and nourishes you. This is one of many emotional release techniques that you can implement into your practice, into your day, your week, your month, and feel how it can really nurture your inner resources, your inner knowing, your inner wisdom, and your ability to respond in this world versus reacting. So many blessings, much peace, and beautiful clarity upon you and your earth walk. I love you.